Okay, let's make some Salisbury steak, instant mashed potatoes, and frozen corn. It's going to come out pretty good, let me tell you. Nice ground beef. I'm going to start off with half an onion. When you're doing your onions, cut off this one end, right, and then split it in half. Pulling off that one end is going to help you peel this thing. Alright, first things first, get the burner on. Get your stove on 350. Alright, you want to get that preheating, you know. Alright. They're onions. Actually, this time we're going to take both ends off of this. If you cut it across the onion, it's going to break up and disappear on you. They have a tendency to break up because you're cutting across the grains. Right? But if we're turning it sideways, we're going to get long slices. And they kind of stay together a little better than... Okay, keep your fingers out of the way. When you get about 3/4 of the way through, turn it on its side. Alright? When you turn it on its side, you can come back from the other way. It's a skinny end and you got something to hold on to. Alright, see that? That works out pretty good, huh? Alright, in our pan, I'm going to get it hot. You can start this off on high to get started. I think I got about a tablespoon of oil in there. Get those onions up to one side. Got mushrooms. Always wash your mushrooms because they got all kinds of stuff they're grown in, organic matter, whatever they come from, you never know. Alright, I'm going to use about 6 mushrooms. I mean, they're not grown in cow poop or nothing, but... Alright. Yeah, see, there's still a lot of mud on that one. They make brushes, all kinds of stuff, which is crazy. Alright, same thing with the mushroom. We'll cut off one side, just a little slot, right? And then we'll turn it on its side. It's not going to roll away from you. Alright, same thing. Get your fingers out of the way. Turn it on its side. It's not going to roll away from you. Alright, that pan's hot. Get our onions in there. They're going to take a little longer than the mushrooms. Give them a little toss. Now you can turn them down a little bit. Now you can get it on medium. Alright, I'm always saying don't never take it above medium. Alright, so our mushrooms. One side off, cut right down to them. You can treat them like an onion too. When you get down close to your fingers, turn it on its side. These things are going to disappear anyway in your food. Cut them in half, cut them in long ways, so any way you want to do them. Mushrooms are kind of deceiving. They take a little longer to cook than you think. Alright, we're going to do the instant mashed potatoes because it'll be quick free on a dinner night. I'm going to do frozen corn. I like them frozen veggies, you know that. Alright. Onions are starting to clear up a little bit. They become translucent, it's called. I want to get good flavor on them. And let's get our mushrooms in there. Alright. We're not going to put any seasoning on these because we're going to put brown gravy on them in a minute. Alright, let's let them cook down real fast. let's work on Salisbury steak. Alright, sure. This stuff makes a little bit of a mess. I think I got about 1.5 pounds here. I don't think we need all that much. I figure you want to make enough for 2 people, right? That's a good sized burger. It's another good sized burger. That's kind of a waste if we don't use it. So, let's get that inside of the bowl. Let's get a bigger bowl. Right, oven's preheating. In here, we're going to put a little bit of ketchup, because everybody likes ketchup on their hamburgers, right? Just a little bit for flavor. Just a little bit of Lowry salt. I got about a little more than a teaspoon in there. Some black pepper. And since we're using the instant brown gravy mix, it's not like we really have to put a whole lot of flavor in there, but we do want to flavor it. Alright, mushrooms are starting to cook a little bit. Okay, breadcrumbs. Gotta have breadcrumbs. And you can use Worcestershire sauce or whatever kind of sauce you want. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce in there with that. Alright, let's mix these things up. Here pretty much you can put whatever you want in it for seasoning. You can make the big batch of this ground beef with a couple pounds of it and use Italian seasoning. You can throw an egg in there, it ain't gonna hurt nothing, but use Italian seasoning in there, and then you can make a meatloaf out of half of it, and your Salisbury steak out of the other half. And you got 2 nights out of a 2-pound pack of meat. Alright. There it is. Doesn't look like a whole lot. Okay. I'm going to shape this into a log just for the fact that we want to cut it in 3. Basically, 1, 2, 3. You want to give them about the same size. Alright, the way Salisbury steaks were, you're making a hamburger, right? You're going to make a hamburger. Mushrooms and onions are browned up nicely, huh? We'll get to them in a minute. Alright, oven's preheated. Okay, nice and tight. Nice and tight. And now what we're going to do I'm going to shape them into little logs like that. Okay? Alright, so we're going to shape them into an oval, right? Press them down just a little bit. Pat it in your fingers. Turn it just a little bit. And just kind of making like the shape of your hand. Okay? Okay, give it a little pat. That one's a little bigger than the other one. Didn't do a very good job at that, did I? I want to get them fairly tight. Okay. Then press them a little flat. So you got a flat pancake shape. And this will make them cook a little faster too. Okay, then you're going to take your knife. You're not cutting it, but you're just kind of giving it a shape. So you're going to go down a little ways, just like push down into it about 1/4 inch or so. You don't have to measure it. At this point, you're pressing it a little flatter. Okay. Now it's the classic Salisbury steak shape. Alright. Our mushrooms and onions are nice and caramelized. Mushrooms are cooked down most of the way. Okay, so here's what we're going to do with this. We're going to take 2 packets of this brown gravy mix. It may seem like a lot, it's going to be 2 cups, but what we're going to do is we're going to have enough to go over the mashed potatoes. Also, it says 1 cup of cold water per each one. I think they're like $1.25 a pack. Okay, so we got 2 cups of cold water in our whisk. All right. And what we're going to do is get that in that pan right now. Stir it around a little bit and get it started. It'll thicken up pretty darn fast. Now you got your ovens preheated. We're going to take these Salisbury steaks and set them right in it. Alright. Make sure your pan's big enough to hold all this stuff. Alright. Isn't that nice? And we're going to put that in the oven. I always have a base pan in my oven. It goes under everything. That's just something I always do. Certain times when you're baking, you don't want that. So that's coming to a little boil. We're good. We're going to put that in the oven. And that's out of the way. We'll set our timer for 35 minutes. I'll be back here in 35 minutes. Okay, timer's done. Let's finish this up. First, we're going to turn the oven off. Alright, that'll be close to 185, 190. And 165 is all it's got to go to. A lot of people like it well done. So I let it go at 35 minutes. You can let it go for 25 minutes if that's what you want to do. Okay, let's get some water boiling. Alright, this instant mashed potatoes takes, this packet I have takes 2 cups of water. So let's get 2 cups of water in this thing. The way instant mashed potatoes work, you don't cook them after you're dump them in the water. Alright. This won't take a whole lot of time, but let's get the other burner going, because we're going to saute up some frozen corn. Okay, I got some white kernel corn here, which is kind of cool. I got it backwards. It says a steam-in bag, but we're not going to steam it. I'm going to saute it up a little bit. There's tons of ways of making Salisbury steak. I mean, this is just a quick way. This is what I used to do for the clients all the time. This is going to have some butter in it, let me tell you. And the mashed potatoes are already buttery. I got the butter flavored. So, where's our knife? We're going to cut that butter in half a little bit so it cooks a little, melts a little faster. Alright, that's getting hot fast. Butter's melting. Water's coming to a quick boil. Just do however much veggies you want. I mean, peas and carrots are good with this. I love peas and carrots, but I did them last time, so. Okay. Probably enough for 2 people, huh? Should run with the yellow corn, it would look better on the plate. I use unsalted butter. You could always add more salt, any salt you want, so I'm going to give it a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. You can throw some parsley in there. Alright, give that a little toss. So that was 35 minutes on the Salisbury steak. This corn's going to be pretty darn fast. If you're using plain mashed potatoes, you could have just thrown the little bit of butter in the water with that. Alright, look at that. And our mashed potato, our water has come to a boil already. So that was pretty darn fast, wasn't it? You don't want it to go too long because it evaporates, 212 degrees. And steam means your water disappearing. Then they'll end up really thick. This corn won't take a whole long time. Corn's only that big. I mean, come on, it's only just less than a 1/4 inch. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time. You can certainly saute a little bacon in there with that. Alright, water's boiling. Saute a little bacon first, put the corn in there. The bacon and onions and the corn, throw some heavy cream in it. Let it reduce down a little bit. Make some nice cream corn. Alright, we're going to kill the heat on that guy. Let that go for another second. Okay. So, mashed potatoes. Best way to do them, get the water turning around a little bit in circles. Dump your mash in there. Give it a quick stir. And let them sit. Alright? Let them do their thing. They'll soak up the water, hydrate up, because it's just a dehydrated potato, right? Alright, the sauteed corn is ready. Getting a little bit of color on there, which is nice. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Move the corn out of the way. Move the taters out of the way. Beautiful. Let's grab our Salisbury's out. Forget that handle's going to be smoking hot. Okay, here's our Salisbury's, huh? Salisbury steaks. Nice. All right. Corn's done. That's a nice color to it. Beautiful. Throw a little parsley in there if you wanted, just for color. Okay, mashed potatoes, they sat just for a few minutes. Now, you can go ahead and stir them up. Okay. Depends on how loose you like them. You can add a little more water, certainly, if you want. Let's get a plate out. Nice, huh? The fat's going to get right in the center of that, which is fine. Let's grab a Salisbury steak. Put that on there. Mushrooms and onions sauteed together there. One serving of buttery mashed potatoes. Some sauteed corn. Guess we could have done some kind of bread, but hey, you can reach in there and grab a slice of bread out of the bag in there in the freezer. Alright. Put a little bit of that gravy on the mash. Gotta have it on the mash. A little extra gravy on top of here. I guess I should have checked the temperature of the meat, just to let you know. Okay, that says 195. That's pretty hot, huh? 197. There we go. Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, roast corn. Took about less than an hour. Let's cut it up and look at it. Nice, huh? Not very good at this, am I? There we go. Good stuff, nice and tender. There's breadcrumbs in there, the ketchup in there. Keeps everything loose. Salisbury steak, sauteed corn, mashed potatoes.